Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. We get to unpack this game, talk about the player ratings, etc., and also the penalty situation and our new signings. And yeah, just give a second round review after all the emotions of yesterday. But before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you are a Kaizer Chiefs supporter and you don't know that we lost against Pirates 1-0, I'm sorry. That is the truth of the matter. Kaizer Chiefs, we lost 1-0 against Pirates. Last minute penalty by Maswangani. So let's just get this penalty out the way. I have been on social media. I have been everywhere. And a lot of people are confused. Number one, let's go to the actual incident. The actual incident, Rele gets the ball. He goes past Blom. Blom tries to grab him. Well, Blom does grab him, but not to a point where Rele can't continue with the move. Blom grabs him, lets him go. Rele continues, has control of the ball. He tries to beat Vuma. Vuma saves the chance. The ref says no. Because Blom grabbed you, I'm taking it back because the advantage didn't result in a goal. Which goes back to my yesterday's argument that, so does that mean advantage only counts if there's a goal? And if we take that logic, Yoguti, advantage is only advantage if the ball ends up in the back of the net. Then we have to then go to the first minutes of the game. I think in the second minute or somewhere there. Modi gets a chance. CBC pulls Modi. Modi finds a way to still stay on his feet. He continues. He tries to round. China. China grabs the ball. Keeper safe. No penalty. No nothing. We go on. Did Kaizer Chiefs fans complain? No. What did we say in that moment? We said, Modi should have done better, etc., etc. But Modi missed a chance. We as Chiefs fans did not blame the ref, whatever, because we saw that the ref gave advantage. But the problem is that in the penalty incident that Rele got, the ref gave advantage. And when Rele didn't score, the ref said it's a penalty. So now this is the question. In the first 2 minutes, when Modi gets pulled and doesn't score, how is it a different scenario? Because then at the very least CBC should have got a red card because they were Modi was going to be one-on-one with the keeper. So CBC pulling Modi is the exact same thing as Blom pulling Urele. It's the exact same thing. These guys, after being pulled, they recovered, they had control of the ball, they tried to score, they missed. And then one resulted in a penalty and another didn't even result in a yellow card or nothing. So that is where I think a lot of confusion comes in because, number one, if it is a penalty, where's the consistency? Because then CBC should have had a red card in the first half. And we should have played Pirates with 10 men for at least 90 minutes, if we're talking consistency. But anyway, player ratings, Ditlokwe, 7 out of 10. Proper close down Nkota. I think people said Nkota Bay. The only time Nkota got past Ditlokwe, it's when Nkota did that interesting move on by the throw-in and got past Ditlokwe. But the thing about Ditlokwe, he was like, it's either I get the man or the ball. So Ditlokwe basically didn't lose any duels against Nkota and anyone coming from the right. He won most of his duels there. So Ditlokwe, solid left back performance. If it was Cross, I would be talking a different story. Dudley and Miguel also 7 and 7. They couldn't do much about the goal conceded. That one is on Blom. But Dudley and Miguel, solid performance, solid defensive performance. Vuma, 7.5. Some would even say 8. Had a very solid performance. Maybe 8. Let's give him 8. Sometimes you must just give someone their props. Like he did have good saves in the game. So that's what we'll say about Vuma. And he showed good courage when he got injured. Blom is the biggest one. I think we are torn in the Chiefs community. There are some people who said he had a great performance just because he locked down Urele. And there are some of us who say, yeah, he did his job in closing down our Urele and stuff like that. But the mistakes he made, we could have got punished so many times. But it's just that Pirates, I don't know what was happening with them. They couldn't find each other. And yeah, because Blom was trying to dribble. And that's why. He was trying to dribble past Pirates players, and they would take the ball from him. And he's a defender. So if they take the ball from a defender, we are at risk. But for whatever reason, Pirates was just not themselves yesterday. And yeah, they couldn't take advantage of that. So with Blom, for the fact that he took care of Rayleigh, I'll just give him a 6. But there's a lot of things he did. He lost the ball when trying to pass forward. He was trying to dribble Pirates players. He was losing his footing. There was just so many things that could have ended badly. But luckily that on this game, we had players like Miguel and Mthethwa who were proper solid on form and were closing down any mistakes. Now let's jump on to Mthethwa. Mthethwa, I'm going to also give. Mthethwa is a difficult one. First half, he gave away the ball too much. Very frustrating. I tend to come here and I defend him. And when I defend him, I always defend him from the point of view that Mthethwa shouldn't be responsible for the creativity of the team, right? And everyone accepts that. Everyone accepts that Mthethwa shouldn't be responsible for the creativity of the team. But the problem that happened against Pirates is that he was failing to even make the simple pass that is the least that we expect from him. Like, when he gets put under pressure, he struggles. And sometimes my biggest issue, right, and I don't know if this is going to be a Chiefs issue or a coaching issue, etc., but my biggest problem is, out of all of our midfield players, all of them, and when I say, and we yet to see Thabo Cele, so we can't talk about Thabo Cele as yet, but all of our midfield players, none of them avails themselves the way Mthethwa does. Mthethwa has bravery to always make sure he creates space for whoever has the ball. He always tries to avail himself to try help his teammates. But the problem is, the moment he does that, the moment he does something like that, he also opens himself to being responsible for the ball once it gets to him. And that's where his problems start. So why I'm saying this is because the ball, in essence, Mthethwa should never be forced to find himself being part of the creativity or having to avail himself. Players like Matlo and Zwane, they should be the ones finding these pockets. So Miguel and Dudley and them, they can give these guys the ball. Because I tend to see that a lot in the game. Mthethwa always avails himself. Mthethwa runs. He makes the best moves possible in the game. You know, if Mthethwa had the was gifted in like passing and all of these things, Mthethwa would honestly be the best player in the PSL just because of his fear. He's fearless, you know. He runs into areas that we know he's going to struggle, but he still does it because he knows he has to support his teammates. Even if he knows he's going to mess up, he will avail himself. And that's something you don't see. And that's something I didn't like about the next two players I'm going to talk about, Zwane and Matlo. My biggest issue with these guys, and the reason why I'm going to Mthethwa, I'm going to give a 6.5, just because he was losing balls but still had a solid performance. Some may even say 7. The next two, Matlo and Zwane, defensively they did fine, but what we need from them, they couldn't do anything. So these two, I'm going to give 5.5. I know a lot of you are going to say, but Matlo, what? Guys, let's step back a bit and ask ourselves some real questions. Some questions that are going to hurt us. Matlo and Zwane are playing double 8s. 8s are meant to be the creativity of our team. But when we look at yesterday's game, did these guys impact the offensive game of Kaizer Chiefs? Did they control the midfield? Or when they had the ball, did they just find a way to rotate the ball, but going backwards? They were just passing the ball back. Zwane passing the ball back, Matlo passing the ball back. None of these, you couldn't find a player who's going to take the ball and take it forward and support that movement. Pass forward and make the supporting run going forward. These guys were always playing negative, and I don't know if that was a coaching instruction. I don't know, but that's why I'm saying for these two, I'm going to give 5.5 because defensively, yes, they make sure that we always have numbers behind the ball. But offensively, no. The one thing I will say, it's not me praising, but I see the improvement in the player is Zwane. Zwane is starting to use his body in the right way. When I say the right way, he's a strong boy. He's one of the players with bulky bodies. And for the first time, I saw him using his strength a bit more. And it shows positivity. I like it because as a center mid, you shouldn't be bossed. You should be able to use your body to save yourself some time, etc. But obviously, Zwane has one problem, casualness, and not even one. Casualness and this thing offensive passes. Sometimes there's no need for you to chip the ball. Pass the ball on the ground. And I saw Mdu Shabalala's frustration. When Zwane chips, he's like, Ndota, why are you chipping? Pass it to me. Like when you're chipping, you don't have accuracy on the ball. You can't, like when you're chipping, you have to be perfect when you chip. But when you pass it on the ground, 9 times out of 10, you're going to find me. But anyway, next one is Mdu Shabalala. Mdu. 5.5 didn't really impact the game. Whenever he made runs, he actually lost the ball. I don't know if he was struggling with the pitch, I don't know, but every time he just never had control of the ball. Like he would make a run and he would leave the ball behind and all of these things, so it wasn't great. Ranga 2 to 3 can't hold up the ball, can't make runs off the ball. It almost always felt like we're playing with a man short. And this is why when you guys know my predictions for the starting lineup, that I was saying what I would do, I would have rather played Lollipop as the striker. He's tall, he's strong. It's just for now, until Morris comes the next game. I would have done that. For the Pirates game, I would have made Lollipop our striker. Then the next game, he goes back to his position because Morris is coming, and that's better. But anyway, Ranga 2 to 3, whatever. The next one, Modi, I'll give him a 5.5 to 6 for effort. There's a lot of good things he did. My problem with Modi is I hope Dabo Cele becomes what we know he can become, because I think he will unlock Modi a bit more. There's too much responsibility on that guy. Whenever he gets the ball, he feels like he has to take on the whole team because he feels like there isn't like that support. Like Abo Zwane are not showing up in pockets that Modi can use. And especially now because our right back and left back don't push up. So Modi, when he doesn't have those options of the number 8 supporting him, he tends to try to take a run with a player and then he runs out of room to run and all of those things. But out of all of the players I'm seeing, one thing I like about Modi is he's trying. He's trying to find a plan, to make a plan. Yes, he missed, we agree, but he's trying to make a plan. He's trying to find a solution. And I think there will be games where Modi does score those braces, does score those goals, if he just continues the way he does. Because I think he's in the right mindset now. I just hope the derby miss doesn't affect him. And then let's jump to the signings. I'm not going to give them ratings. I don't feel it's fair to give them ratings currently. So I'm not going to do that. But Thabo Cele, we have to give him time. The derby is a big one. When he joined the team, he was only with Umtetwa and Matt really in the game. So that's an unfair combination to have because these guys just don't have that kind of creativity. And I don't know, Nabi and them need to fix, when they play a 8-8, they need to figure out how to fix the two eights combining together, because it always feels like Samkelo Zwane and Matlo are too far from each other. So it feels like they can't really combine. It feels like one plays on the left and one plays on the right, and they only see each other in the changing room. That is my problem with that. Sometimes when I'm watching the game, I don't see them connecting. Whereas when you're watching, for example, Pirates, etc., you can see Mbata connecting, you can see Dlamini, you can see Maswangani, you can see Makaula connecting together. You can see them in the field. But when it comes to our eights, we can't really see them combining. But anyway, that is a story for another day. The late substitution, I've given my opinion on it, I think, on different platforms. But what I saw of that thing is that unless I don't understand the rules, but the rules, from what I remember, is that we have 5 substitutions, but you can only make those 5 substitutions 3 times in the match. So when I say 3 times, I'm like, if you have 5, you can do 2 60th minute, 1 70th minute, and 2 50th, 80th minute. But you can't just like do 1 1 1 1 1 1. You have to do them in those ways. And then the time with Usirino and Uvilagazi, they were ready to come on around the 70th minute, etc. They were training and they were getting called to join. And then Vuma had that head injury of his that was worrying the bench, because the bench was worried that if we bring Sirino and Vilagazi onto this game without being 120% sure that this guy is fine, then if this guy at the 80th minute goes down, holds his head, is concussed for real, we will not have substitutions. And I think that is the risk that Nabi and them, why they held out on the substitution, because they knew that the next substitution they make, they have to make both of those substitutions. So when they make that sub, they either want to bring in Vilagazi and Sirino, or they're going to have to bring like Sirino and Ntwari, or Vilagazi and Ntwari. So that was what I was seeing. Am I right? No. Am I right? I don't know. But then at the same time, I was of the opinion, this is just me, Guti, Nabi did make a mistake with his subs. Number one, I don't feel it was a game that required mud. I don't think it was a game that required mud. So in my opinion, I feel like he could have brought in Usirino and played Usirino more as an attacking 8, and then make Tabokele play a bit more behind to support Tetra if needs be. But if you brought in Usirino more as an attacking 8, similar to how he was playing against Free Agents FC, I think it would have been better than seeing Matt there. But if you then chat to Nabi on the situation, Nabi will say Sirino is a liability in defense. So when Pirates attacks us, Sirino is going to want to walk or jog when he's meant to come back. And that's why the 8th position is sensitive. You can't just put someone who's going to be lazy. And I think they're also questioning the mindset of Sirino. So when they bring in Sirino, they want him to play on the wings, where if he's being lazy and stuff, it doesn't affect the team to the degree of if they play him as an 8 or even as a 10 sometimes. Because even as a 10, we've seen Dushabalala doing a lot of defensive work. That's all. Those are my opinions. But yeah, you guys tell me what you think. Amakhosi for life.